Hi there, Darth Geekula, aka Rich, here. Just want to do a quick Darth haul video on this, the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Penguin. Very excited. It's been a while since I've actually had a new Batman toy to do a video on, but I am collecting the DC Collectibles Animated Series line, and here is Penguin. He came out last week, I think, along with New Adventures Poison Ivy. I did pick up Penguin. Here he is in his package. Here's the back of the package, which is kind of boring. No cross-sell pictures or anything. A bunch of warnings. There it is again. There are some air holes on the side, which is interesting. No, he cannot breathe, but a lot of DC Collectibles figures smell like marijuana. I think that's what they smell like. They smell kind of skunky because of the plastics that they use. So they do have some air holes to try to let that smell kind of get out, so it's not quite as bad. So anyway, I'm going to open this. I want you to sit there and watch Gotham on PVR. And when I come back, I'll have him opened and we'll take a closer look. Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, I am back. So here is Mr. Cobblepot out of the package. And I think he looks pretty great. Now, I've heard some people say that he looks a little too round. I think what it is that I think he is on model to the cartoon. It's just when you sort of 3Dify, and that's not a word, when you 3Dify the figure from 2D, he is really round, and you just wouldn't really get that depth in the cartoon. He comes with a stand that has some nice artwork on it. The stand kind of clips on their waist, if you can see that. Penguin is so large and round, I'm not quite sure how that's going to hold him. However, he does stand pretty well. The articulation is a little more limited than most of the figures, but it's understandable because of his size. But you do get swivel shoulders. He bends at the elbows ever so slightly, just because of how he's built. I don't think there's any hip articulation. There's a T-crotch. His legs go up and down. I don't think there's any rotation, and his feet kind of have a bit of a pivot. But again, most of the figures in this wave are well articulated. I understand why his articulation would be a little lacking. He comes with a bunch of hands. He's got one gripping. He's got one gripping hand holding his umbrella, which is also an accessory, and one more open hand. I'll show you the hands here. There's another kind of gripping hand, another Robin kind of slapping hand, and a couple of fists for when he wants to fight the power. So that's very cool. It comes with two umbrellas, one closed umbrella, which as you can see is a little bit warped, so I'm going to have to put that under a hairdryer, and an open umbrella. I think I'll display him with the closed umbrella just for the sake of saving space. He also comes with if you can see that, a teapot, or a teacup, and a spoon. Now, what DC Collectibles has been doing is including some accessories that are episode specific. I can't quite know exactly which episode the teacup is from. If I were DC Collectibles, I would sort of forego that. And if you're going to include a couple extra accessories, make sure they are more iconic. Like, for instance, the Joker, he didn't come with playing cards, but he did come with kind of a scuba diving mask from a specific episode. Probably just should have thrown in some cards. But again, I can't criticize DC Collectibles too much for this line. It's one of my favorite. The Batman the Animated Series is one of my favorite interpretations of Batman, right up there with the work Frank Miller did, right up there with the work that Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams did in the 70s, right up there with Christopher Nolan. One of my favorite Batman interpretations, one of my favorite Batman runs was Batman the Animated Series and what Bruce Timm had done on that. So there he is. He is Penguin. Oh, one more thing I do want to mention. When this line first came out, there were a lot of complaints about breakage because DC Collectibles uses this clear plastic for a lot of the joints, and that will break. If you pose them too much, it will break if you don't pose them too much. DC Collectibles like, oh, we had no idea, we're going to fix it. And so far, the figures have been a lot more sturdy. Penguin isn't a great example to test this because, again, his articulation is a little bit limited. There's his back, by the way. I do give DC Collectibles some credit for fixing it. I don't give them a lot of credit because they kind of acted like they had never heard about this issue prior to their animated series line. Since the inception of DC Collectibles, their figures have been brittle. They've been using the clear plastic for a long time, and people have complained about it for a long time. Why it took the Batman the Animated Series line, complaints about that line, to get them to actually act on it, I don't know, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So there he is. Batman the Animated Series, Penguin. Very strange release schedule. Last week, Penguin and Poison Ivy from Batman The New Adventures came out. Batman from the Animated Series and Riddler, I think, also come out in a couple weeks instead of them all coming out at the same time. Anyway, it's a great line. Oh, one more thing I want to mention. I said there was no cross-sell art on the back of the package. I'm trying to lay my Penguin down on the table here, and he kind of spins because he's so round. On the back, it does come with this little insert. There's Batman the Animated Series, the New Batman Adventures. These are both in the same universe. It's just that after, I think, 3 seasons Batman the Animated Series run, they kind of redid the show as Batman the New Adventures. So they have action figures based on this incarnation of the series and this incarnation of the series. I'm mainly getting them from this incarnation of the series. And then on the back, you see some of the newer figures coming out. So you got Batman from the Animated Series, Riddler from the Animated Series, Penguin, Batgirl from the New Adventures, Roxy Rocket. Whoever thought we'd see a Roxy Rocket figure? I think she's from the Animated Series. And then down below, Nightwing, Bane, and Scarecrow from the New Adventures, and Mad Hatter from the Animated Series. And here, the Batmobile from the Animated Series, scaled for these 6-inch figures. Not sure if I'm going to get that or not, because it is expensive, although I think it's not a lot more than $100, so it's a fair price. I'm just not sure if I'm going to get that Batmobile. I say that, and I'll somehow get it. So here he is, Penguin. Oh, his head articulation is a little limited as well, just because of his hair and his hat. He's just a fat guy. He's got his umbrella. He's good. So great figure, great line. Okay, guys, until next time, see ya. Very quick PS. I was trying to give this wrist a little bit more movement, and the peg snapped off. So I was a little too happy when you last saw me. I want you to see me a little more depressed. So be careful. Make sure you use a hairdryer if you have any stuck joints. DC Collectibles! Okay, see ya.